everyone. In this part, you will find explanation of the second part of Act 4, Scene 1. The scene takes place in a courtroom, and so far, the Duke and Bassanio had been trying to persuade Shylock to not take the forfeiture from Antonio. But Shylock cannot be moved from his determination. Now let's come to the second part of Act 4, Scene 1. Antonio, I pray you, think you question with the Jew. I request you, remember that you are arguing with the Jew. You may as well go stand upon the beach and bid the main flood bait its usual height. You might go and stand on the seashore and ask the tide not to rise so high as usual. You may as well use question with the wolf, why he hath made the ewe bleat for the lamb. You may even question the wolf, why he had made the mother ship mourn for the lamb that he had eaten. You may as well forbid the mountain pines to wake their high tops and to make no noise. You may even ask the mountain pines not to move their tops and make noise when they are frightened with the gust of winds, when they are blown gust with the winds from above. You may as well do many things most hard, as seek to soften that than which what's harder. You may do many other things which is very difficult, rather than to attempt to soften the heart of the Jew. Therefore, I do beseech you, make no more efforts, use no further means, but with all brief and plain conveniency, let me have judgment, and the Jew his will. Therefore, I request you, do not make any more offers, do not use any other way, but with all due speed and simplicity, as it might be convenient to you, let me have the judgment, and the Jew his will. So in the speech of Antonio, you need to remember the things that Antonio says are easier to be done than trying to soften the heart of the Jew. So those things are that a person can stand on the seashore and ask the tides not to rise high as usual, which is an impossible task. Next impossible task is a person can ask the wolf why he had eaten the lamb and made the mother ship cry. Third impossible task, that a person can ask the mountain pines not to move their high tops and make noise when they are blown with a gust of wind. So these three things are impossible to be done, but can be done rather than trying to attempt to soften the heart of the Jew. Bassanio, for thy 3,000 ducats here is 6. I offer you 6,000 ducats instead of 3,000 ducats that you owe. Shylock, if every ducat in 6,000 ducats were in 6 parts and every part a ducat, I would not draw them, I would have my bond. If the 6,000 ducats that you are offering me, if each ducat is divided into 6 parts and every part can be called a ducat, even then I will not take it, I will take my bond. What Shylock means to say here is that even if you offer me 6 times 6,000 ducat, I will not accept the money, I will accept only the bond. Duke, how shalt thou hope for mercy rendering none? How hope to receive mercy from God when you show no mercy to others? Shylock, what judgment shall I dread, doing no wrong? Why should I be scared of any judgment when I have not done anything wrong? You have among you a purchased slave, which like your asses and your dogs and mules, you use in abject and in slavish part, because you bought them. You Christians have many slaves whom you have purchased, and you treat them like animals, like asses, dogs, and mules. and you use them to do some mean and slave work. And you do all this because you have purchased them. Shall I say to you, let them be free, marry them to your heirs? Why sweat they under burden? Shall I tell you to let them be free and get them married to your children? And why do you let them sweat under load? Let their beds be made as soft as yours, and let their palates be seasoned with such wines. Let their beds be made as soft as your bed, and let them be provided with rich food as you all eat. You will answer, the slaves are ours. What will be your answer? That the slaves belong to you and you decide what is to be done with them. So do I answer you. The pound of flesh which I demand of him is dearly bought. It's mine and I will have it. And same thing I answer to you. And the pound of flesh which I demand of him is dearly bought. That means bought at a high price. It is mine, it belongs to me, and I will take it. If you deny it, fie upon your law. And if you do not let me take it, shame on your law. And there is no power in the law of Venice. I stand for judgment. I want my judgment. Answer, shall I have it? And shall I have my judgment or not? Duke, upon my power I may dismiss the court unless Valerio, a learned doctor, whom I have sent for to determine this, come here today. Using my authority, I can adjourn this court unless Dr. Valerio, a learned person, whom I have called, comes here to decide on this matter. Salerio, my lord here stays without a messenger with letters from the doctor, new come from Padua. My lord, outside waits a messenger who has a letter from Dr. Valerio, and he is come from Padua just now. Duke, bring us the letter, call the messenger. Bring the letter here and call the messenger in. Bassanio, cheer up, Antonio. What man, courage yet? The Jew shall have my flesh, blood, bones and all, ere thou shalt lose for me one drop of blood. Have courage, Antonio. The Jew shall have my flesh, blood and bone, before you even lose a drop of blood for me. Antonio, I am a tainted weather of the folk, meet is for death. I am like a sick ship in the herd, which is more fit for death. The weakest kind of root drops earliest to the ground, and so let me. And the weakest kind of fruit is the one which drops first to the ground, and so let me drop too. You cannot better be employed, Bassanio, than to live still and write mine epitaph. You cannot be given a better job, Bassanio, than to keep living and write the inscription on my tombstone. Enter Nerissa, dressed like a lawyer's clerk. Duke, came you from Padua, from Valerio? Have you come from Padua, from Valerio? From both, my lord. Valerio greets your grace. I have come from both, that is from Padua as well as sent by Valerio. Valerio sends his greeting to you, my lord. Presents a letter. Bassanio, why dost thou beat thy wife so earnestly? Why do you sharpen your knife so keenly? He is talking to Shylock. Shylock, to cut the forfeiture from that bankrupt there. Cut the forfeited pound of flesh from that bankrupt, that is Antonio. Gratiano, not on thy soul, but on thy soul's due, thou makest thy knife keen. It is not on the sole of your shoe, but on your soul which dwells inside you, are making your knife sharp on. But no metal, not the hangman's axe, bear half the keenness of thy sharp envy. Not even the axe of a hangman would ever become so sharp as your malice, your hatred for Antonio. Can no prayers pierce thee? Can no prayer penetrate your heart? Shylock. No, none that thou hast wit enough to make. No, no prayers can penetrate me. No prayer that you are clever enough to make. Shylock is very adamant on taking the forfeiture. He doesn't listen to anybody. He doesn't pay attention to any request. He just wants a pound of flesh from Antonio's body. So with this, I end the explanation of the second part of Act 4, Scene 1. You will find explanation of the further scene in the next video. Thank you.